Well, since my attempt to make a half-inch tool holder didn't turn out too great, I decided to break down and upgrade my spindle motor from a 1.5 kW to a 2.2 kW, which will accept up to a half-inch router bit or end mill. So I ordered one off of Amazon. It was a set that came with the inverter and the spindle motor and 5 ER20 collets. I would like to have been able to just buy the spindle motor, but the amp rating on the 2.2 kW is higher than on the 1.5, so the inverter that came with the 1.5 is 7 amp, and this new one for the 2.2 kW is a 10 amp. So I'm going to get started on taking, first take the spindle motor out of the holder on the CNC, and then we'll disconnect the inverter and swap it out. I've got the disconnect that I put right here turned off. The two terminals on the left here are the 220 power. Far right is the ground. These leads go out to the motor. This motor took 4 leads, which had a ground. The new motor only has a place for 3 wires. This new inverter has the same bolt hole pattern as the other, so it makes it easy to mount. My cord was too fat for the to fit in the connector here, so I had to chuck it in the lathe and bore it out a little bit. Let's see if it'll go in there now. Oh yeah, perfect. Get that up out of the way. Well, melted my darn shrink tubing. Not sure if I can get it slid back up over the connection there now. That one worked alright. This bottom one looks alright, but this one right here looks like it's done too tight. Might get lucky here. Well, let's see if I can cut this one. Cut it back a little bit. Finally got that piece of shrink tubing on there. I had to cut part of it off. My battery died on the camera, so that's why I didn't capture that part. So, shrink these up and we'll be ready to put this thing back together. There we go. I think I'm going to put some spade terminals on these wires from the motor. Wires for the power are a little bit too big for these spade terminals, and you go to the next size and won't fit in there, so I'll just put them back in there like they were. But I think I'll put these spades on the motor wires, make it a little easier to get them in there. Well, let's see if we can get these in here now. we go. Whoops, bumping the camera here. There we go. That's the motor wires. Now for the power. The book says for 220 single phase to use R and T. So we leave S in the middle empty. Now the ground wire. All right. Everything looks good there. I guess it's time to turn the power on, and then we can start setting some of the parameters. That's odd that the fan cut out. Usually the fan stays running. At least it did on the other one. So let me check things out here and see what's going on. Well, I think this thing might be set enough where I don't have to change any parameters. So let's give it a try here and see. Huh, fan comes on when you hit run. Spindle's turning. Probably can't see that. You can probably hear it. I just cut it off. I think that thing's running backwards. Yeah, it's turning counterclockwise instead of clockwise, so I'll have to switch the to 220 lines. Let me cut the power here. Takes a few seconds for the display to dissipate the capacitors in there, dissipate the power. Come on now, I want you to be on that left-hand side there. Okay. This one doesn't seem to have the RPM like the other one did, so just displays the hertz. So let me lower the hertz down to about half or so. That's 167 hertz, which is a little less than half speed. 400 hertz is max speed, which should be, I think, 24,000 RPM. So that should be about 12,000 RPM there. Cut it off and watch it come to stop to make sure it's going clockwise now. No, it's still going in the same direction. So swapping the two power leads didn't change the RPM, the direction, excuse me. I guess I'm thinking of three-phase power because you swap two of the three leads on three-phase power and it changes direction. So let me think about that for a minute. I just had one of those duh moments. I've got the power off again. The incoming is single phase, so swapping the leads doesn't change the direction, but the output on an inverter is three-phase. That's why you have three wires. So if I swap two of those, that should change the rotation. So let's try that. Now if I can get this one back in there, it'll be alright. Come on, baby, get in there. There we go. All right, let's try one more time. Now we'll stop it. Hopefully it'll be going the right way this time. Yes, going the right way. So we're in good shape. Since this inverter doesn't have a potentiometer on the face of the inverter itself, you have to use the arrow keys on the front to go up and down in speed, which is hertz. I might put a remote potentiometer over on the side of the table where the CNC is, and maybe even a remote start-stop switch. According to the book here, potentiometer would go to 5 volts in, 5 volts out, and ground on this terminal here, which there's ground, and there's 5 volts in and out. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then it also has a supposed to be a place for run where I can put a remote start switch. But for right now, I'm going to button this thing up and call it quits for right now. All right, we're ready to roll.